So today we're going to be having another juicy, sweet, tender, loving little conversation with our higher selves. And yeah, my life is blessed in so many ways. It's incredible. And when you're
Yeah,
always looking for the blessings and you're always appreciative, spirit just keeps
that's
going,
how they show up.
you know, boop, boop,
You
pew,
got to
pew,
be
pew,
open to
pew.
receiving.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so I am, and I just am so grateful, and I thank God, the universe, Father, Mother, God complex, all of it for everything. Oh, here was one of my miracles. So last Christmas, I bought my sister and one of my best friends this beautiful set of 25 Days of Christmas from Bloomingdale's, and it was a combination of makeup and perfumes and just all these really high end things. And there was this incredible perfume that I fell in love with that's called, it's by a company called Hermetica, and it's called Vertical.
Mm,
And
that
OUD
sounds
is a particularly like spicy scent. And so when I was in Paris, I found it, and I was so happy to have found it. And I bought a bottle. So while I'm sitting there shopping with Matanya looking for it, because it was also her birthday, and we were trying to find something for her birthday, all of a sudden I look over and here's my favorite perfume from like the 90s that's called Quelque Fleur that had gone out of production, that was back in production. And I'm like, I'll take this one too. So hundreds of dollars later, in the perfumery, I got two of my favorite perfumes in the world, and I'm sitting here with them in their little boxes. Anyway, these are my moments of joy. New staff and new perfumes. So life is slamming. And my little child is like, woohoo. And the cat is in, and I fed the cat. And my mother's on vacation in Hawaii for 10 days. All is right with the world. All
yay.
right. It looks like it's nobody here but us chickens. So let us begin. I just want to open with a prayer of gratitude to say, Father, Mother, God, Source Creator, thank you for all of the countless blessings in my life. Thank you for the friends. Thank you for the family. My sister called and told me this morning that she's going to come and visit me when I'm in
Oh,
Paris, when I'm in France. She's like, I'll come wherever you are. I said, I'm going to be in the south of France. And just, God, thank you for everything, all the magic that happens in my world, and for my ever meowing cat who wants to go outside. All right, all right, all right. Okay, okay, okay. Come on, come on. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. He likes to lie. He likes to lie in the leaves. He doesn't realize that by sleeping in the leaves, he's bringing all these critters in the house. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He wants to do what he wants to do. I'm kind of like that. So the conversation about our inner child, it's really, really precious. Our inner child is an aspect of us that is young and vulnerable. It's an aspect of us that didn't quite get to come to full maturation. It's more prevalent in some of us than in others. Some of us that still have some maturing to do. But what she represents is the core of us, the place where we get our feelings hurt, the wounded place, the place where we didn't quite get seen, or we didn't get heard, or we didn't get felt. I studied with a mentor years ago, and he said our biggest wound is that our caregivers weren't able to feel what it was that we were feeling when we felt it. And therefore, we weren't reflected that it was okay for us to feel what it was that we were feeling. And this journey of doing the work with the inner child is really about giving ourselves permission to say, I'm having a great day. I'm having a really rough day. I'm scared of that thing. I'm excited about that thing. It's just giving ourselves permission, really, is what it is, to allow ourselves to feel everything that comes up for us. Is there anybody here that is challenged by allowing themselves to feel everything that you're feeling when you're feeling it?
mm. I would say that's how I was before I did those healings with you. My inner child was like stifling my emotions, and it was like everything would build up And then
Exactly.
when I really started doing the healing work and I started to like forgive what happened to me in my childhood, that's when like the whole universe opened up for me.
I think the key word of what you just said and voiced, Alicia, is so beautiful is forgiveness. Because my mentor Melanie calls it baby goddess. And sometimes she's like, you hurt my feelings. I don't like you. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I'm taking my marbles and going home. I'm taking my Barbie dolls away, you know? And it happens to us at the age of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I have an 86-year-old mom who's like 4 years old sometimes, you know? But it is about going in and doing the forgiveness work. You spoke it so beautifully, Alicia. And the universe will open up to us when we stop having ourselves in, entrenched in the past, because that's all that happens. This little girl inside of us goes, oh my God, this current circumstance is exactly like this other thing that happened to me. And I need to protect myself. I need to, you know, brace myself for the bad thing that's going to come because of the bad thing that came before. And what it does is it totally takes us out of being here and now in the present. So the journey of connecting to our inner child is really the journey of allowing ourselves to be present to what it is that we're feeling at the moment that we're feeling it. And saying to her, like holding her, imagine just holding her and saying, baby girl, it's okay. It's okay for you to feel what it is that you're feeling. No one's out to harm you. No one is out to hurt you. You're just dealing with karma for all the shit you've done to other people. And that may be hard for a little kid to hear or understand. But to know that we have literally invited everything that's ever happened to us in our lives, and we are in a reciprocal universe. Everything that we do and everything that we experience is us now experiencing what we have done to another. Does everyone get that? It's just that simple. It's a boomerang universe. So if we have had some of the atrocities of life happen to us, there have been lifetimes where we have done that to others. It doesn't mitigate and it doesn't lessen how painful what we went through was. But what it does is it allows us to say, I can put a context around this and understand that I have done this to another. Whenever I have bad stuff happen, there's usually a little temper tantrum. And then I come down and I breathe and I go, okay, thank you, Lords of Karma, for allowing me to experience and to release the karma, the karmic debt that I had for this thing that has happened to me. My mother's boyfriend, George, was over yesterday and they were packing up and getting to go away on this 10-day trip to Hawaii. And there was a whole conversation about whether or not my mother was bringing her wheelchair walker. And my sister said, I don't think she should bring it. I think it's going to get really trashed. And my mother wanted it. And George spoke to the airlines, and the airline said, we don't have anybody to push wheelchairs. And I went, that's ridiculous. Of course they do. What he meant to say was, we don't have anybody to push your mother's wheelchair. Like you would have to push the wheelchair. And he's like, I'm going to have all the luggage. So they decided to take it anyway. And at one point, George kind of flew into this, tell your sister that if she's upset that we're going to ruin the wheelchair, I'll buy her another one. So he looks it up and he's like, here it is. And here's the price. And you call your sister and you tell her that I'm going to get a new wheelchair. And I looked up and I was like, this is a 5-year-old boy in front of me. This isn't a grown man. This is someone who is deeply triggered. He's not present to what's actually happening. And I just said, look, knock it off. It's okay. Take the wheelchair. If we have to replace the wheelchair, we'll replace the wheelchair. But it's been very, very fascinating that when who allows myself to get triggered, I go through it and I'm like, oh, it's okay for me to be angry. It's okay for me to be sad. And I will move through it deftly. I will move through it swiftly. So the journey of the inner child is really about allowing that being. The heart is a being. The mind is a being. The pancreas is a being. The intestines is a being. The kidneys, the livers, all of these beings make up what it is to be human. The skin is a being. The bones are beings, much less our cats and our dogs and our plants and our husbands and our wives and our everything else in between. So if we can grant beingness to this inner child and we can say, Understand that anger is always a message. So if your inner child is upset about something, you can say, what do you need? What do you need me to hear? What would you like me to understand? What is it that I have not been able to hear? What is the message that you have for me that I could listen to that would make you feel that you are heard? Does that make sense? It's something that we can use with children. It's something that we can use with adults. Anybody ever have anybody that gets upset at them in their lives and you're like, wait, what happened? It didn't seem like the stimulus produced the kind of result or response that there was. If you can just slow down long enough to say, what happened? You may not have to use the word triggered, like just say to someone, what happened? The number one thing people want to be is seen, and they want to be heard, and they want to be felt, and they want to be known. Do you know what the most beautiful sound in any language to a human being is? The sound of their own name. When someone looks at you and says, hi, Linda, and they presence you and they witness you, or hi, Terry, it's great to see you. It's been a little bit. Or hi, Alicia, thank you for everything you do. I know that I just talked to you for the past couple hours, but it's just great to be with you again. And Leith, oh my God, that wedding looked so beautiful. Congratulations. You looked gorgeous. I loved seeing all your pictures. When someone can just take a moment to be present with us, do you notice how it kind of like calms everything down? We are witnessed. We are called by name. We are known. We are seen, and we are acknowledged. And I promise you, that's literally all that our inner children want from us. So the question is, are you willing to grant that to yourself? I literally have an alarm set in my phone. I have a bunch of alarms set in my phone. I have one for 11:11, one for 11:15, and one for 11:25. And it's taking the time to acknowledge my inner child. It's taking the time to acknowledge my goddess posse. It's taking the time to say, oh, I have one for 2:30, 2:32, 3:33, and 4:44. And it's acknowledging Sanat Kumara. It's acknowledging Yeshua, and it's acknowledging Ashtar. And then I have one where I'm acknowledging Hathor and Isis and Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and Lady Nada and Ishtar and Inanna and all the goddesses that are part of my tribe, my Pleiades sisters, Venus. And then I have one where I just say, I am lovable. Because sometimes I have to remind myself of that. Because sometimes I don't feel lovable, I forget. And I have people like Alicia and Linda that remind me of how lovable I am. And I look and I see you guys and I'm like, these people are so lovable. And Jesus whispers to me and he goes, so are you. So sometimes we just need to remind ourselves of the things that we forget. So I want to ask each of you, what are the 3 qualities of your inner child that you absolutely love? Would someone be willing to raise their hand and share? Okay, Alicia.
I love that my inner child is creative and
Mm,
imaginative. That's
mm.
why I'm so good at AI. It's because of my inner child.
It's because your inner child is AI.
Exactly. She was on the computer all the time. But also like from like the dreamer.
Yeah. What else do you love about your inner child?
That she loved to travel.
Yeah, I love that about your inner child. She's a great traveling companion.
Yeah.
What
And
else
she's
do you,
lovely.
yeah. What else do you love about your inner child?
Her bubbliness.
She is very bubbly. Gorgeous. Harry, what do you love about your inner child?
I was just writing it down. I came up with 2.
Okay.
The first one, I agree with Alicia in is creativity. I love her sense of creativity. I love that she can be funny. her sense of humor. And I think I also love the way that she might be afraid to do new things, but she does them anyway.
Right on. I
Courage.
love that. I love that. Listen, one of my favorite people to laugh with is Linda. I just get such a kick out of laughing with her. And I can imagine the two of you together just having so much fun. Do
We
you
do.
guys crack up a lot?
Hmm.
How fun.
We do. It is fun.
Who's Linda? Who's that?
That's Moxie.
I'm Moxie.
Mox.
Linda, what are three things that you love about your inner child?
I love her smile. I love her sense of humor. Um, um, and she 9 times out of 10, she sees the good in people.
Yeah.
She has her moments, but don't we all?
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. And Leith, are you available to speak, my love? Hi, honey.
Yes. Um, so yeah, I think Alicia and creative was one of the things that I came up with. And being curious, I think,
Mm,
is one.
I love that.
Um, I think just being welcoming of others, right? Like I just
Mm,
everybody is welcome. So
yeah, it's gorgeous. Love that. I love that about you. There's definitely a welcoming aspect to you that's really beautiful.
thank you.
Alicia had to go. Um, what I love about me is my love of cats. I am like a huge cat lover, like huge. I don't have as many as Linda and Wendy, but I'm a huge cat lover. Um, I love that my little girl loves to swing on the swings at the park. It's one of my favorite things to do. My mom and I went walking near my sister's property out in Port Washington, and there were a set of swings. And my mom's walking with a walker, and I go, "Mom, I'll be right back. I'm going to go swing on the swings." And she's like, "What a great idea!" And that feeling of just like kicking your legs up in the air and swinging on the swings, there's just to me something so joyful about that. She also loves to go to the park and feed the ducks. There's just something about like giving back to the ducks.
Yeah.
And I love that my little girl is, she's just playful, you know? She's just always, I love black patent leather shoes, man. If you can dress up for Easter with like the little yellow Easter dress and um, the little white socks that have the little like ridges on them, and then the little black patent leather shoes. I have this picture somewhere of me dressed like that, and it's just one of my favorite things. My little girl loves to dress up. She loves purses and shoes and things that are matchy matchy. Oh my God. I have to show you my latest purchase. I ordered this thing so long ago. It's this gorgeous Louis Vuitton bag, and it's lavender. Can you see the lavender? And look what it matches. Oh my God. Tell me I'm not the happiest girl in the world. It matches my purple. So when I'm off to France, I'm heading there in the middle of December. I'll be there for 6 weeks. I'm taking my hat, I'm taking my Louis Vuitton bag, and I have this fabulous lavender coat. It's more like purple coat, but I'm gonna wear the hell out of it and have scarves and layers, and even my luggage is lavender, pink. If we could look at, some people are ashamed. They're like, oh, I get angry, or I get my feelings hurt, or I feel jealous, or I feel this, or I feel that. It's okay to feel all that. Like God sent us down here to feel all of that. But if we could honor and be grateful for all of the things that our inner child Like, this was a gift that I got at the retreat that we went to in Sedona. It's a freaking crystal crown. It's so heavy. And I was like, all right, let's see that. And as soon as I put it on my head, I'm like, ah, the crystals start talking to me. I'm like, this is where this crown has always supposed to been. This is probably the crown that I wore when I was in Atlantis. This is mine. And I'm like, this little girl with a crystal crown. I have a crystal crown on my crown chakra. Like, how happy am I? You know, if we can just take the time to have appreciation and love for all of us. God made me emotional. God made me fat. God made me loving to eat total fucking horrible bad food. I've been telling Alicia and I love to eat together. So I've been telling her for years, oh my God, I wish I could take you to California so you could have Jack in the Box, because there's one thing at Jack in the Box that's the most delicious thing ever. Egg rolls. And we love to have like Asian food together. So as we're traipsing down the highway, you know, in Sedona on our way to Phoenix, what do I see? But a Jack in the Box. And I'm like, Alicia, I'm calling her. I'm in the U-Haul van and she's in the other car. And I go, Alicia, are you ahead of me? And she goes, yeah. Because I told her to go ahead. I said, guess what I just found? She goes, what? I said, Jack in the Box. And she goes, oh, are you getting us egg rolls? And I said, absolutely. She goes, I just want one. And I'm like, all right, you say that now. I stopped. I got a 3-piece egg roll. I ate 2. I gave her 1. It tastes like ginger and pork and all things that are bad for you. And it's deep fried and it's so fucking delicious. And my little inner child was like, egg rolls from Jack in the Box. Because there's no Jack in the Box on the East Coast, you know? But there was in Sedona. So on the way down, the final day when we're leaving, I'm like, guess where we're stopping? She goes, Jack in the Box. And I'm like, I'm getting a 3-piece and you're getting a 3-piece. And I think within 7 minutes, we had both polished those things off. My little girl loves junk food. And guess what? Sometimes I indulge her. My God, the chocolate that we ate. You know, I am as God made me, and I'm fine with it. Raymond, one of our friends, he's like, I brought you all these healthy Chinese herbs to have you live longer. And I'm like, no, I'm tired. I don't want to live longer. Like, that motherfucker has been helping me. And now all of a sudden my lifeline is extending. And I'm like, I was supposed to be out at 72. It was supposed to end right there. And all of a sudden it's like moving. It's moving and it's starting to look like the 80s. And I'm like, no. You know, this is my craziness, right? I don't want to live that long. I'm already tired. Like, just revel in all parts of you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the parts of you that are indulgent, the parts that most people would try to shame. Like, it's all okay. And that's really the journey of the inner child, is to fully embrace everything about us. So, you ready for the next level? What are 3 things about your inner child that you're ashamed of? We're going to go deep. Like, you don't want to tell anybody about, you don't want to talk about. You'd be embarrassed to tell anyone. Do you want me to go first? Okay. My little girl loves to pick my nose and eat it. Horrifying. Right? And I remember being young one time and I did it in front of my mother, and my mother goes, Lynn, that's disgusting. And my aunt does it. It's so funny. And I'm like, yeah, but it tastes really good. Like, it's horrifying. I know it's horrifying, right? I'm just saying. My little girl, she's such a brat. My little girl loves to upset my sister. I don't know why. Like, every once in a while, I'll just do a thing to like needle my sister for no reason, just because I love to see her go, because she does that. What else did my little girl love to do that I'm ashamed of? She loves to swear like a fucking sailor. Oh, yeah. That's my little girl. What does your little girl love to do that you are like ashamed and horrified of and you'd never want to tell anybody? This is the dark side of the light chasers. Any part of you that's like, oh no, I can't tell anybody that. addiction to porn, indulgence in candy, anything you wouldn't want anyone to know about you? Terry, you look like you're horrified and you just don't want to say it out loud.
No, no, I'm just trying to think. I'm smiling because I'm like straining to. I know there's probably three, but
All right.
um,
How about one? Does anybody have one? I'll let you all off easy. Do you have one? Oh no, I could never tell anybody that. I don't want anyone to know that. You may not have any. You may be practically perfect. You may not have any shadow whatsoever. Thank God you were sent here. For the rest of us, shadowy creatures.
Um,
All right. Well, if you find it, I ask
um,
to forgive.
Linda's ready.
Linda, you got one?
It's not that I have one. I think they were all, I'm going to use the word ironed out of me.
Mm, really? How does
Yeah.
one iron out one's shadow? With a light iron?
Um, Mom was an older mother. She was, in an older generation, and children were seen and not heard.
Ah, so it was suppressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought of one
Tell me.
that and this when you said mother, I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm not one to use a tissue once. I will use it until it's done. Whether that's at the same sitting or if I find it in a pocket a year later. Oh, it's still got some life in it.
I am the kind of person that if you have dinner with me, I have 9 napkins because every time I take a bite of something, I have to wipe my fingers and then I need a new napkin.
Oh, really?
Rolls and rolls and rolls of toilet paper for one tiny little wipe for 2 ounces of urine.
Oh, no, no, no. My mother was like, oh my God, we're going through tissues. Because I did had a sinus condition when I was younger. And I got yelled at for using too many tissues. So I use them till they're dead.
Leith, you got anything?
I don't. I mean, not something that I like about myself
No,
necessarily.
no. This is something that your little girl does, your inner child does, and you are like, I can't ever tell anybody that. I'm so ashamed of that. I can't believe I like that thing. You know?
Right. It's, yeah, I can't really think about that. I mean, one of the things is like, I get over emotional at times, but then that's not something that's hidden to others generally. Right.
But can you forgive that within yourself?
I'm trying.
Okay. Well, I love overly emotional people because then I feel like I'm not alone in the world. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually comes from a place of passion, but it doesn't always come out.
Yeah. Sometimes mine comes out as anger and rage.
Right. Yes.
And everyone around me is so calm and they're like, what? And I'm like, rah, 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 rah. It's all good. Jesus loves every bit of me, he promises. And I'm his favorite, so I'm good. I'm good. On the trip, someone got me a hat and it says, Jesus loves everyone, but I'm his favorite. I'm like, yeah. I wore that through the security. The guy's like, what does your hat say? Cracked him up. Cracked him up. I got recognized when we were in Sedona. It was the very last day. And I went to the shop that one of the girls in the group had purchased something for me there. And I wanted to see it. And I made a couple purchases. And the woman behind the counter looks at me and she goes, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. She says, are you on YouTube? And I got embarrassed and I got scared. And I took a breath and Jesus said, it's okay. And I said to her, yes. And she said, I know you. She came around the counter and she hugged me. And this is the third time I've gotten recognized publicly because I have a reach of about 25,000 people. I'm about to tumble over somewhere that's seen my videos, right? I have thousands of videos on YouTube. And like, I had to just take it with grace. Like my inner child was like, oh, you've been discovered. Quick, hide. You know how babies put their hands over their eyes and they think nobody can see them? Like I just wanted to disappear. When I did healings with Yeshua and when I was channeling early on, I would say to people, shh, don't tell anybody. I did not want to be known. There was a fear there, you know? It was my little girl. Oh, another thing my little girl loves, mint chocolate chip ice cream from Baskin and Robbins. And God bless our chef who found 2 tubs of them. And I did polish one off by myself. Me and my big fat belly, as my mother loves to call her. Anyway, so look,
Is it wrong to have something you wish you could change about your inner child?
no, it's natural.
I guess.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all,
I
listen,
don't know if it's about my inner child or just about myself. Like,
because
it's like,
somebody shamed you for it.
yeah, problem.
You came in whole, perfect, and complete. Here's what I want to leave us all with. We came in whole, perfect, and complete. God goes, okay, takes his virtual cloud tablet and goes, who do you want to be this lifetime? And I'm like, I want to be partially Black, partially Jewish, want to live in France, be living with my mom in New York at the tender age of 63. Holy fuck, what was I thinking? Have 17 marriage proposals, 4 rapes, you know, exposure on the internet, being terrified and loving it at the same time. He's like, okay, and how much do you want to weigh? And I go, about 205 pounds, 208 on a bad day, 202 on a good day. And he goes, okay, fine. What else do you want? Like literally, he's like, check, 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 check. We designed every aspect of our lives, every single one of it. And my mother looks at me when I come home and I'm wearing these jeans that are a little tighter than normal because I indulged. And she sits down and she grabs her belly and she shakes her belly. She looks at me and I go, what are you doing? She goes, looking at your big fat belly. She's 86. I'm 63. And I was like 4 years old, mortified, humiliated, and embarrassed. And what do I want to do? Go eat pizza. You know, like someday I will heal this in this lifetime or another. Otherwise, she gets to be my mom again and we get to do it all over. But somewhere it has to be okay that we have the feelings of shame and fear and guilt and horrification and humiliation, as well as joy and love and happiness and gratitude and pleasure. We get to have both sides. And the game of the inner child is to be able to love both the shadow and the light. Can you love the darkness as well as the light? Because God is both sides. Lucifer Morningstar, God's most beautiful and favorite angel, representing the darkness. Like that's us. We are angelic beings that have both shadow and light. And can we be okay with both sides of it? That's really the journey of what it is to be human. So I leave you with this. Your inner child loves you and she wants to be loved by you. So make time in the day. I say to my little girl, what do you want to do? She goes, I want to ride the bike. And I go, the tires are flat. She goes, I don't care. We'll get new tires. I said, we'll ruin the rims. She goes, we'll get new rims. I want to ride the bicycle. Bicycle's hanging upside down in the garage. I got to get my brother to come over and help me unhook it. You know, like, let your inner child do what she wants to do. If she wants to feed the ducks, get a loaf of bread and go feed the ducks. If the gluten's going to kill them, get gluten-free bread. That'll probably kill them faster. You know, if whatever she wants to do, check in with her. Check in with her and ask, what would you like to do today? Because if you don't pay attention to her one way or the other, she's going to get your attention. You know what I'm saying? So I thank you all for being here. I hope that this was helpful. I hope this was useful. I hope that this made you feel closer to an aspect of you that's so important. And the greatest work that we can do in life is our inner healing work. Doing that journey of growing and learning, looking at the places where we're scared and saying, I can walk in there boldly and know that I'm going to be okay. That's what it's all about. Any questions? I thank you
No,
all for being.
I was just gonna say, I think that ego has to take a back seat when we're looking at our inner child.
Listen, even ego is a friend. Everyone has turned ego into this bad, 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 bad thing. Guess what? You wouldn't be able to do what you did if you didn't have an ego. An ego was an ally that we were given. And unfortunately, it's like you build a car, you hop into the car, you put the car on automatic, and then you try to pretend that you're the car. That's what the ego is. It was meant to be a guide and an ally. It's meant to help us. But we've let it run the show. Like Hitler, regimented. What if we could learn to love every part of us? The ego is a sentient being as much as the heart is and the mind is, and the bones and the organs, and the little girl that lives inside of us, or the little boy. We've had many lifetimes as both sexes.
Yeah.
So can we allow ourselves to love all of us? That's really what this is about, including the temper tantrums or the hysteria, or the love and the joy and the smiles and the giggles. I pray that the two of you laugh your asses off as much as possible. I love that you guys are neighbors. I can always tell when one or the other of you is logging into the website because it always shows you the town, your little town in Pennsylvania. I'm like, the girls are on the website. I have people from Mumbai, from India, from Russia, from Germany, Spain, Australia. It's so crazy to see all the people that go to the website. I am an internationally, galactically known superstar. I thank you all for being here. I wish you a very beautiful Shabbat if you celebrate. Shabbat Shalom. A beautiful weekend. And I will see you all very soon. Bye, my darlings.
Bye.
Bye.